This is Radio Brockley.
Hello and welcome to Brockley News, Radio Brockley's weekly show keeping you up to date with all you need to know about what's happening in and around the hospital. I'm Alan Joyce, and coming up today, an inspiring story of a man who hand-cycled from Edinburgh all the way to London last Friday in aid of children in need. We'll be hearing the story of Rob Groves, who is aiming to raise around £20,000 for charity and successfully ended his journey at the BBC studios in London on Friday evening. That's coming up. Then at 8:30 tonight, your chance to win some Radio Brockley goodies without leaving your bed on Bedside Bingo with David Rauch. Good luck if you're playing along this evening. And at 9 o'clock tonight, it's all your choice of tunes on the Sunday Request Show with Keith Reid. So stay tuned to London's official #1 hospital radio station, Radio Brockley. So if you're watching Children in Need on Friday evening, you may remember the incredible story of Rob Groves, who was attempting to hand-cycle all the way from Scotland to London. Towards the end of his journey, he made a stop at the Aspire National Training Centre here at the RNOH, and our reporter Ron Laver took the opportunity to catch up with him.
I've come over to the Aspire Centre here in the RNOH and to meet a remarkable gentleman who arrived here earlier, turned up in the car park in the pouring with torrential rain, riding a hand cycle. Rob Groves. Rob, why? I think basically.
Well, I have a hand cycle and I studied in Edinburgh. And I've cycled down here today to Aspire, but on my journey I went through Newcastle, Leeds, Manchester, Birmingham, Oxford. Oh, and in Oxford I met the 12th Duke of Marlborough, and a very nice cup of tea with him and a chat with him and a photo with him. Absolutely wonderful guy at Blenheim Palace. And then I came down here to Aspire, and the reason I'm visiting Aspire today is they part funded my hand cycle for me as I'm paralysed from the waist down, and it's given me my life back. I've now been able to turn my hand cycle into a fundraising machine, and also it's making people aware of spinal injury and so forth, so that everyone can see that disabled people can achieve things and be inspiring. And it changed my life when I went to the Paralympics in 2012 after being in a very dark place, being disabled. Changed my life when I saw the hand cycles. Thought I can do that, and here I am today doing exactly that. And it's because of Aspire that I've been able to achieve that goal. And I've now qualified for Race Across America next year, so I'll take my bike across to the States and I'll race from New York to LA as well. So I'm looking forward to a lot of events in my hand cycle.
You're heading off from here a little later on this evening, aren't you? Where are you heading to? The final stop on your journey today?
The whole journey has been collecting Pudsey bears from each city, and our final Pudsey bear that we need to pick up is from London Broadcasting House, and we'll be arriving about 9 p.m. on Children Needs Night to a Pudsey Bear Heroes Welcome for me, and finally picking up the final Pudsey Bear, which will then be given to the schools that have been involved in following me in this event, as they have given those bears a specific name from each city that they came from, associated to that city. And we have over 100 schools who have entered that competition.
Oh, wow.
To win them bears.
Any interesting names?
Well, yes, we have actually. Manchester, we've had around about 20-30 children call it Rooney.
Who else?
Who else?
Why Edinburgh to London? What was the thought behind that?
Well, each year I've watched the Rickshaw Challenge on the One Show for Children in Need for the last 3 years, and they normally start in Scotland. So I called them early January this year and asked them if I could join them to do the Rickshaw Challenge. At that time they weren't sure whether they were going to do it again this year, and it was only in the last 4 to 5 weeks that they decided that they were going to do the Rickshaw Challenge. Well, I always thought, well, I'm still going to do it, you know, even with all that. I'm going to go from Scotland to London, and they informed me that they'd done their route, but because of what I was doing, they'd go across the other side of the country, so we didn't cross over.
Right.
And they would go to Elstree Studio, and I would go to Broadcasting House, so we didn't have to sort of have any clashes, which was fine. So that's my whole reason of actually doing it and starting in Scotland. I think I'm leaving here at Spire about 5:45, and I will have 50 cyclists with me. The cycling club I'm with, which is the Crawley Wheelers, they'll be leading me into London, the 14.5 miles that we travel. I think we'll bring London to a standstill this evening. I'm sure that'll cause a few problems. It's the only city we don't have a police escort. We've had a police escort in every city we visited at the moment, but unfortunately London can't do that. So we'll have a problem tonight.
It's a good problem to have, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's very good, yeah.
I saw there's a YouTube video that you made, filmed from your point of view,
Right, yes.
And your bike is very low in the road.
Yes.
You're almost lying down in it. I wouldn't cycle around London anyway, and I really wouldn't like to be at that low level. So I presume you have people with you for safety.
I have a whole trip down. We've had a motorhome that was donated to us by a company, and that follows me behind with 2 able cyclists on either side of my bike. They'll give me any traffic warnings and so forth, but of course when cars pull out, they tend to see the cyclists up here, and they don't see the cyclists below.
Right.
So you do really require someone to follow you, to help you behind. But in this trip, I've had a headset on all the way through, so the motorhome has been able to be in touch with me all the time and tell me where to go and guide me out and so forth. So the motorhome will come out first and tell me when I can come out, especially dual carriageways and things like that.
So you have your own talking sat nav, effectively.
We have our own talking sat nav in there, so it's a constant communication. And they tell me when I ask them how many miles I've got left for a break, they'll tell me 10. But it seems more like 15. They're actually lying to me all the time to get more miles out of me, which has happened quite often, especially over the Pennines when we got up to the Pennines. But that was fantastic to see the views, and the height that we managed to achieve. What
have the weather conditions been like over the? How many days is it you've been doing?
6 days.
Over the 6 days.
This is the first day it's rained on us.
Really?
Very first. I've had farmers pass me with their trailers, and as they've gone past me and come in, the manure and so forth has come splashing down onto the road and all over me.
Oh, that's nice.
But today I've had many of the lorries going through the puddles and the sprays from that. So especially on the A41, I came down on the A41, and I think we came about 25 miles down there. But other than that, the traffic we've had a lot of people this morning beep their horns, wave good luck and everything else. We've even had people pull up a mile in front and then get out and waiting to donate and holding a £20 note out to take for the motorhomes to take off them. So we've had a terrific response from the public, and the motorists have been fantastic.
Presumably rattling cans on the way down, collecting tins and things.
Oh yeah, we've got the tins, and we've got Pudsey Bear on board the motorhome. We collected him in Birmingham, so he joined the motorhome in Birmingham. Who's a very naughty bear, gets up to all sorts of mischiefs in the buzz, and we took him to meet to Oxford to meet the Duke, and he played up then as well with the Duke, but the Duke loved him and wanted to play back with him, so it was fine. But he's a naughty, uncontrollable bear.
I mean, each night you stopped, were there, presumably because you were collecting these Pudsey Bears, there were like a reception committee, if you like, to meet you each night?
Yeah, each Pudsey Bear was at a BBC studio, and there was a reception there to meet us, and we had to take a photograph of the Pudsey Bear by the sign of the studio to prove that we've visited, we've collected it from the correct studio, and each BBC radio station have done an interview as we've come down the country.
How many miles were you doing each day, and how gruelling for you was that?
Averaging, the first day was the hardest. That was 108 miles. That was from Edinburgh to Newcastle. Leeds was 98 miles, and then it's around about 70 miles a day now. And this morning was from Oxford to here, 52 miles. So, and then we've got the final 14 tonight.
I was looking your cycles down in the reception downstairs. Perhaps you could describe it to us.
Yeah, it's 4 inches from the ground. I literally do like almost flat. My legs go into the front, which are just rested into the small plates, and it's hand cycled from one movement. It's not a single movement. It's one movement to the arms to keep the spine perfectly straight, and it's 27 gears. And the bike costs £5,000.
Wow.
That particular bike costs £5,000 to buy that one. It's made out of aircraft aluminium and carbon. Wheels are 26-inch on it, but it's a fast bird. Downhill, I've reached up to 47 miles per hour downhill on some of the dual carriage rides. Going uphill, I about 6 miles an hour when I start to pull up, because the hills and the inclines is really the hard work in the bike. Is because it's pulling my weight, your whole weight up a hill, and it's quite difficult.
Looking at the bike, I'm sure it's more complicated than this, but the front, if I can best describe it as, it looks like an normal bike inverted.
It's a normal bike inverted.
So you've got the driving wheel at the front with the chain on it, and that comes, instead of going down to your feet, that comes up to your hands.
Comes up to my hands.
Looks like a normal pair of foot pedals, but the pedals have been taken off.
That's right. Yeah.
And hand with brakes and things on there.
On the handlebars as well. So you've got your 2 gear controls and brake. It only has one brake on the front and a handbrake on the front. No brakes on the back. But turning it, it's like turning a double-decker bus, because you've got very little movement on turning.
Right.
And then if you come into a corner, you've got to do like a 3-point turn, and it can be quite. It's an art actually to do it.
I can imagine. Yeah. Can I take you back then? I think it was 8 years ago you had your accident.
That's right, yes.
I understand you were fairly into fitness anyway.
Yeah, I had my own health club for 5 years. So I used to do bodybuilding and fitness instructor. I used to love it. Always keep fit and healthy. And then one day I was walking to my car and woof, all of a sudden, couldn't feel my legs. I collapsed, rushed to hospital. They operated and then told me the bad news of, unfortunately, one of my spinal bones had actually protruded and sliced off the nerves into my spinal cord. So the nerve damage was too severe for anything of a recovery. So, but it wasn't until about a year after that had happened that they finally told me that I would always be a wheelchair user. And it took a very long time for me to accept that.
It was interesting. I read a little bio of yours, and interesting the quote when they told you were going to spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. The thought that you put in that quote was,
No, I ain't. You don't know me. It's a joke. So, and at first I thought, you're pulling my leg. That's the most stupid thing you can say. Oh, well, of course I won't spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. And actually, I won't. I'll spend most of my time in a hand cycle, cycling around the country or abroad, raising funds for as many children or charities that I can possibly do. I did try really, really hard to find work as a disabled person, and I got rejected so many times, and I was so annoyed over because of a disability that I have. It's as simple as that. And I thought, I need to do something to keep myself going and to show that disabled people can do work and can do things. So this is what I do. I go out and show, hey, look, I can do this. Any disabled person can, with inspiration.
You must have gone through a period when you were first told.
Well, yeah, the first one, when it was like that, I contemplated suicide several times and thought, I can't. The wheelchair, I refused to get in it. If my wife brought it to me, I would simply throw it across the room and say, "Don't. If you think I'm going to end up in that, you're mistaken." And it took me a long, long time to actually go out. I never went out of the house for nearly 2 years. I refused to go out. So, and it was a friend of mine who finally came round and said, "Come to the Paralympics with me." They took me behind the scenes. They showed me the gym and their equipment and everything that they were working on, their training schedules, and it changed. That was what changed me. I thought, I can do this. And then when I spoke to a lot of them, especially some of the Help the Heroes that was there as well, and they were army guys, tougher than me, and they'd lost an awful lot more than I had lost as well. And when they told me that, at the end of the day, you pick yourself up and you dust yourself off and you start all over again, and that's exactly what you should do. And so to anybody that's disabled out there or they've got an injury and it's happening every day, then don't look on the dark side, look on the bright side, because there is a bright side to it. You know, it might take a while, but there is one there.
And I guess once you got that mindset, then your background in physical fitness must have been a great help.
Well, yeah, that was it, because I knew how to keep myself fit and eat the right foods and supplements and so forth. I did balloon to 17.5 stone from being a fit guy, being in the wheelchair. I looked like a huge weight, it just looked a wreck. I'm now 14 stone. And I'm back into my prime in fitness and so forth. And I think I've lost about half a stone doing this. I think I've lost a bit too much weight. I haven't shaved for 5 days, you know, and thinking, oh crikey. But no, the worry of this, of doing this for myself was, can I do it? You know. But most important than anything, there was 2 reasons I'd done it. Well, 3 actually. For children in need, for Aspire, but the most important one was to show people with spinal injuries we can do things just like you, and that's really what it's about. I've proved it, I've done it, you know, so I've done the impossible and done it. So.
Can I just ask you, go back about the US trip you're doing?
All right.
Can you're cycling from
New York to LA, 3,050 miles.
And you described it as a race. Is it a race?
It's a race, yeah. It's a race. But as for disabled, 2 German guys done it last year and did it in 11 days. So that's obviously I want to beat the Germans, as we do.
Of course,
we all want to do it. So, and I monitored and watched them all the way through what they did. So I've teamed up with an American guy, and we're both going to do it. He's going to be my mate. So we will ride 24 hours. He'll ride 12 hours. I'll ride 12 hours. And now that I've done this is prepared before that, I will continue. So I think, well, that's fine. I can ride 12 hours, no problem. I can do 10 miles an hour. So do 120 miles a day. It's not a problem. So just a bit more. So we need to get up to about 250 to 300 miles a day to get through.
What time of year is that? When does that start?
June, July. It starts in America.
I guess the biggest problem might be the heat in some parts of...
You go through 5 different time zones, and of course, the heat, because part of it is going through Death Valley, but you go through Utah and everything else. It's going to, you get variations of different weather. I'm sure I'll get some rain as well. Well, actually, the tornadoes over there, aren't there?
That's right, yeah.
The tornado. So I have to be a bit careful with that one. Yeah. But no, that looks really good to do.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that, and maybe if you've got some time after you've done that, we can chat again with you about your experience in the States.
Oh yeah, definitely, it'd be really good, because I will be coming back to Aspire quite often, because a lot of the fundraising I'm doing is for Aspire, and at the moment I'm almost up to 10,000. When they part funding for my bike, I always made a promise I'd pay them back in a way to help the charity. And I set a goal of 10,000, and I'll try and raise 10,000. I'm on target for that now, so I'm quite happy that I've achieved that. And that will go to helping others in my condition to part fund them for bikes and everything else that they need. So and if I can inspire one person to do it, then my job's done. I'm happy with that.
Okay, well maybe this is a good time to give us the details of how people can sponsor you at the moment.
They can either go to my Facebook page, just type in Race for the Disabled, and you'll find all the information and all the links there where you can donate, and you'll see all that. Follow our story as well.
And it won't close tonight once you reach the BBC, will it?
All the time, because it's also will be there.
Ongoing.
It's ongoing because it's there for next year as well, for Race Across America. It's an ongoing site. It's always there. Well, on my Facebook, it's always there. And at the moment, I think we checked yesterday, we were up nearly 1,200% on people checking in the Race for the Disabled page. Which is unbelievable.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
And the hits and everything, because it's been publicised and so forth, and it's really getting out there now, that people are now looking at it now, and that's what we want them to do.
Yeah.
Is to look. And they've also, the donations have been flooding in, so it's really working well.
Well, we'll continue to support you in our small way from the hospital here,
Thank you very much.
and wish you all the best for the last few miles. I think 14 miles into London.
14 miles, and I'm really looking forward to the end. We've got 2 bottles of champagne we're going to crack open when we finish it. So yeah, we're looking forward to the end of it.
Okay, Rob, we really appreciate you taking time out of the day to speak to us here, and wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate you talking to me today.
We'll hear a little bit more on that interview very shortly. Just a reminder that coming up at 8:30 in just about 10 minutes from now, your chance to win some Radio Brockley goodies without leaving your bed on Bedside Bingo. David Ouch will be calling out the numbers and giving you the chance to win. Hopefully the patient reps will be with you very shortly if they're not there already. And then don't forget tonight, between 9 and 10, it's a whole hour of your favourite tunes on the Sunday Request Show, and Keith Reeve will be in the hot seat introducing those for you. This is Brockley News. Let's take you back to Rob and Ron.
I've come down, we've got people gathering now to support Rob on the last 14 miles into London. There's a young lady here. What's your name?
My name's Nikki.
And where are you from?
I'm from Bracknell in Berkshire.
And how do you know Rob?
Rob put a call out to the British cycling ride leaders, and I'm a Breeze champion, so I take out lady rides for British cycling. I've met Rob through his Facebook group. Got in touch with him about a month or so ago. I actually joined Rob and the rest of the team yesterday as they rode into Oxford, and I've come out for my second day with them today in the pouring rain.
Yes.
To be there at the end and see Rob finish his epic challenge. I've actually done across the country cycle myself before for charity, and so I know how tough it is, and even more so on a hand cycle.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
take my hat off to him.
With the gentleman here, what's your name, sir?
My name's Phil.
And where are you from, Phil?
From Worthing, and my brother's, we've both come up today, he's from Chichester.
Okay, do you know Rob personally?
Yeah, we rode together on the 24-hour Thruxton ride, because I was one of the marshals there. We just went round with him, gave him some helping hand and everything, and what a character. And we said that we'll meet him, because I was prepared to do the whole lot. And he said, no, just come down at the last stage.
Yeah.
A lot of people aware of what Rob's done. There are a lot of people who are disabled and think they can't do it. Well, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And what he's done is I think is brilliant. He's done what everyone. He had an incident. He went down depressed, took all the tablets, and then one day he woke up. And look at him now. He's inspirational, and I'll take my hat off to him as well. Because what he's done and what he's achieved is phenomenal.
There's a gentleman here with Crawley Wheelers on his T-shirt. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
What's your name?
Alan Bennett's.
So I don't have to ask you, you're obviously from the Crawley Wheelers Club.
I am, yep.
And you know Rob personally?
I do. I met him about a couple of years ago through the Crawley Wheeler Cycling Club.
And he's a member of your club, isn't he?
He is, yep. He sent us an email, told us about his situation, and we welcomed him along.
So he's only joined the club since he's been disabled, is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. And he found it a problem with other cycling clubs, and we checked and made sure we could take him on board, and yeah.
No, that's fantastic. And there's a group of you come along here tonight to support him on his final stretch into London. How many other guys are you expecting?
Well, in total here we've got able-bodied cyclists. There must be about 20 of us, and then it will gradually build up, I'm sure, on the way.
I've just stepped inside the support vehicle here, and I find it's manned by Rob's family. Who have we got here?
Cole, it's his oldest son.
Over there.
Becky's eldest daughter.
Emily, Rob's daughter.
So have you three been crewing for him all the way throughout the week?
We
Yes.
certainly have.
You've been with him all the time?
Yeah.
We have.
You're in the van, are you?
Yeah, we run. I look after the van and the driving, make sure that the dad and the riders are safe on the road with a Bluetooth headset, and then the two girls run everything else, to be fair. Making sure that all the social media side of it's all done.
Yeah.
And
i.e. the police, radio stations, BBC studios, just confirming with the cyclists who's joining us, meeting points, etc.
obviously the campsites
Supporting
overnight.
Dad, yes, sorting the campsites overnight, checking that all the cyclists are happy and they're safe.
So it's quite an involved job then. You can't relax.
Little parts you can probably get about 5 or 10 minutes, because obviously you're trying to contact people, you're answering calls with people contacting us, where are we, what's the updates, how's Rob doing. It's been a really, really, really fantastic adventure, to be honest, and we are so proud of him.
Yeah,
really, really
totally.
proud.
I was going to ask you, what do you think of what your dad's done, considering where he was 8 years ago?
Yeah, no, it's a monster achievement. It really is. From where he's come and where he's got to now, it's chalk and cheese. You know what I mean? It really is.
And you're on the last leg now, so what happens after tonight?
We all go back home and then reflect.
I'm looking forward to my own bed,
Yeah.
I must admit.
Yeah, definitely. Seeing my wife and daughters.
Space away from everyone.
Yeah, you can have too much of a good thing. So have you all been sleeping in
Yeah,
here?
there's 6 of us that
Yeah.
have been in here, so
Right.
We've coped pretty well,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I mean,
You are on top of each other. But, I mean, like, we've got Roy, who's been with us as well, who's 66, and he's got MS.
Yeah.
We all are off to him. And then we've also got Alan Bennett, who's a pro cycler from the Crawley Wheelers. Them two have just been absolutely fantastic. I mean, they've been looking after my dad, obviously with Carl as well, while they've been out on the road. They've sort of, been either side of him, keeping eyes out. We've had just an amazing time and a fantastic team. Everybody's worked together, and it's nice for us because obviously Emily, Carl, me and my dad are all family, so it's nice for us because we live in the Midlands and they live in Crawley, so this has been like a bit of a holiday sort of thing for us as well, which has been nice.
It's nice to spend a week with our dad, as we won't normally, get that chance.
Yeah.
At the same time as do this big adventure for him.
That's fantastic.
No, it's been a real good week.
Yeah, I chatted to him early. He's really got good spirit and
he is.
Really determined guy.
Yeah, he is.
Well, look, I know you're waiting to get underway and finish off the ride. So good luck.
Okay,
And
thank you.
hope the last 14 miles
Yeah.
goes nice and smooth.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Although you are driving in London, so good luck with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
You ready to come out because all your cyclists?
Yeah, all your yourself.
Take care, good luck. All the best and nice.
Cheers, see ya.
Good luck.
Cheers.
That's it. Let's go and play with the London traffic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you ready? That's the question.
I'm ready for the final.
You were born ready, yeah?
Rob's now on his hand cycle and he's moving out from the Aspire reception area into the colder night air. It's not actually raining like it was when he arrived this morning, but it's certainly a lot cooler now. Okay, they're preparing now to move off. Rob has moved out in front of the support van. And one of his daughters is here just lining him up so he's the right distance, not too far forward but not too close. She's now lining up the supporting cyclists. There's about 20 of them here at the moment and they're all lining up around and behind, just posing for photographs at the moment.
Alright, can you all say cheese? Cheese! Hands up in the air, give us a wave!
Okay, so the photo call over. Support team get back in the van. And they're setting off now. Good luck.
See you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye, Dad.
Followed there by the support van. In the last 6 days, he's done something like 486 miles, and he's just got the last 14 to go.
Fantastic, and well done to Rob Groves for that fantastic achievement on Friday, and a big thanks to Ron Laver for that report as well. Don't forget you can listen to Brockley News again by following the links from our website at radiobrockley.org. Plus you can tune into Brockley News Extra 5 days a week at midday for another chance to hear some of our recent interviews, and also tomorrow night at 8 o'clock you'll have another chance to hear highlights from the recent annual general meeting here at the hospital. Up next on Radio Brockley, it's Bedside Bingo, your chance to win some Radio Brockley goodies, so good luck if you're playing along. And then at 9 tonight, it's all your choice of tunes on the Sunday Request Show with Keith Reeve. Brockley News returns at the same time next week. From me, Alan Joyce, though. Goodbye.